So let's start first with virtual. Hopefully everybody's kind of downloaded this VirtualBox tool that's out there. We're going to get a little bit more into that in detail. And I believe from yesterday you probably got some high-level topics of what exactly is virtual in a virtual machine, but I'll take a step back and let's talk about this thing from a high level. So a virtual machine. So everybody obviously, as a prerequisite, was supposed to bring a computer or a laptop to this session. So if you think of that, that's considered a physical machine. You actually have something with a piece of hardware that's sitting there on it, right? This concept of a virtual machine is I can actually have a machine running within my physical machine. And you may think of virtual machines, sometimes people can think of Java and this Java virtual machine concept, right, where I've got this kind of container running Java within my computer. A virtual machine in a kind of higher level aspect is very similar to that. So you have a physical machine, which is called a host, and then you have these virtual machines that are called guests that are running within literally your physical box, right? So now all of a sudden I could say, well, wait a sec, what if I've got a really big server that's got 16, 32 cores in it? I could start putting a lot of little virtual machines on that big server, right? And so now it becomes companies like Amazon and Google and Microsoft and others say, well, I've got these really big data centers and I've got a lot of computers. Why don't we start offering some of our servers and put these virtual machines on? And what we can start to do is actually start selling these virtual machines as a business model, right? So this is exactly how Amazon started their business. It's saying, hey, we've got older hardware. Why don't we go ahead and just spin up this offering where I can actually start offering my older hardware, and now they're bringing in newer technologies as well. But as it out of the gate up, I'm not using these computers anymore. Why don't we just sell this virtual machine time where people can be running these things on these physical machines that we own in our data center. So what exactly is a virtual machine, and what's the life cycle of a virtual machine? The first start of a virtual machine is what's called a machine image. And as the name kind of says, you can kind of picture I've got an image of an operating system in front of me, an image of myself. And so an easy way to think of this is you've got a picture of yourself, and what you're going to do is you're actually going to create the real you from that picture. That's what this machine image is doing for us. So right here, within a machine image, I've got what would be considered an image, a snapshot of an operating system, whether it's Linux, whether it's a Mac, whether it's Windows. I've got a machine image with an operating system on it, and I've got little to as much software on there as I want to have. So it can be very bare bones, and literally all I'm giving to you is a machine image with an operating system. Here's a bare bones Linux image. Or I'm going to give to you a machine image with Hadoop installed, with Pig and Hive and all that, and that's actually what this VirtualBox image that you just downloaded to your machine today was. That's actually a virtual machine image that's got a bunch of software installed on it that you guys are going to be able to use throughout the day for your lab session. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But this concept now of I've got a machine image, I'm going to actually instantiate that into a running virtual machine. So you'll see later, you can literally click the start button on the machine image that you downloaded. You've gone now from a step of a machine image to a virtual machine that's running now that I can go in there and change directories and create files and do all of these things with, right? And what you can actually do with that now is you can actually take a snapshot of that, and you've got a brand new machine image now that's got a change in state from the original one that you have. So as a researcher that's maybe not necessarily in the computer science domain, this becomes really interesting because what I can start to do is I've got a test bed in front of me now of, let me get used to my software and trying out my algorithm. Did I get it to work? Yeah, great. Let's take a snapshot of it, right? I just got that to work. Do I need to recreate somebody else's experiment, right? All of a sudden now I can, between my lab, use a kind of common machine image that we can be using to install software, to be working on our algorithms, right? And so this virtual space becomes really interesting in places like FutureGrid now, where we can collaborate among academics, right? I've got the same OS and the same software already installed that we can do tests and recreate things. And the beauty of this is I can completely wipe it clean and start again, right? I've got a machine image here that I can spin up right after that. So if I made a mistake, I made a mistake. Let's spin it and get it kind of iteratively until you actually get it working, right? And so that's kind of one of the beauties of here that we have in this space is you've got a clean slate anytime you want to do this, and you can make mistakes and you can wipe it away. And it's not installed on your physical machine, right? It's running on a virtual machine that I can stop and start at any point in time that I want to. So it becomes a really nice local kind of sandbox mode to get you into bigger problems that you want to tackle, and you may not be, like I said, a computer scientist. You're trying to work on a linguistic problem. You're trying to work in genomic space on genomic alignment. You name it, right? You've got these abilities to work on algorithms. Take other researchers' software, install it, and run with it, right? So this concept of starting local and working into these virtual clusters allows you to get into this mode of testing and trying to get research work done in your particular domain.